Order. Order. Question number 8, Kelvin Davis.
To the Minister of Police, on what date, if any, was the first of any briefings given by the Commissioner of Police or his staff to him, his predecessor, the Prime Minister or any of their officers in relation to the reported investigation into Mike Sabin?
Speaker.
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Mr. Speaker, responsibility for police investigations rests solely with the police, not the executive, and it's important that this constabulary independence is maintained. Any comment on the existence or otherwise of any particular investigation is for police to comment on. Despite widespread speculation in the media and from the opposition, police advise me they have declined to confirm to media any investigation regarding Mr. Sabin, and it is not for the Minister to get ahead of police in discussing unconfirmed operational matters. It's not appropriate, nor in the public interest, for me to discuss details relating to whether I may have received or provided details on a specific police matter.
Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Kelvin
The question
Davis.
was about a date that he received a briefing, which he is responsible for, a briefing from the Police Commissioner.
Yes, but as I listened very carefully to the Minister's answers, he's effectively saying to this House he's declining to give that information because he doesn't feel it's in the public interest. That order. That is a judgment call that the Minister has the right to make, and I accept and respect the Minister in making that judgment call. You have the right to ask further supplementaries.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Grant Robertson.
Mr. Speaker, I take your, that's the judgment that you've made about what the Minister said. The issue for us on this side of the House is that the Minister did not actually say that he didn't believe it was in the public interest. He made a number of other statements about why he didn't want to answer. But if that is what's been invoked, we on this side of the House need to be very clear about that, and I certainly wasn't from the Minister's answer.
Certainly what I took from the Minister's. I'll allow the Minister to clarify.
I can confirm, Mr. Speaker, the last sentence of my reply said that it was not appropriate nor in the public interest, etc., etc.
That's what I heard as well. But moving forward, we'll ask for supplementary questions from Kelvin Davis.
To the Minister, why is it not in the public interest for him to disclose when the first briefing to the government occurred?
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Mr. Speaker, I refer to my primary answer. I think I made it very clear why I thought that, and I maintain that.
Further supplementary? Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
On what date did he or his predecessor or the officers first inform the Prime Minister's office?
Right, the Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
I refer, Mr. Speaker, to my primary answer, and I have nothing further to add to that.
How ridiculous.
Order. Supplementary question. Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
Did he or his predecessor, when they knew an MP was the subject of a police investigation, seek and or receive an assurance that the MP was not a minister, and if not, why not?
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
I refer the member to my primary answer, Mr. Speaker. I have no further comment as it would not be in the public interest.
Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Does the Minister agree with this statement? Quotes, people should be able to be safe in their home, and it's a very serious issue for the country. It's a really serious question when you start saying that 89 to 90,000 homes are visited every year because there's a domestic violence. Or further quotes, often what has happened in the past was that if you had a domestic situation, say the husband was drunk and looked like he was going to be abusive to his wife or the children, the police had to go through quite a process to get a restraining order. We changed the law to allow that to be much more rapid, fast process, his words, so it could happen instantly, end of quotes, words from the Prime Minister. Do you agree with them?
Order. This question is a long way from the primary. I'll allow the Minister to answer it, but he has levity in doing so.
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
The question strays a long way from the primary question, and without understanding the context in which the comments were made, it would be inappropriate for me to make a detailed response, but generally speaking, yes.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
To the Minister, is it still the practice of the Commissioner or his staff to brief the Minister on cases of significant public interest as part of the weekly briefing?
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
In accordance with Cabinet guidelines, yes.
Question number 9, Sarah Dowie.
Mr. Speaker.